Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Unfiltered After 40, where three lifelong friends get together. And I know that all I have to do is call these girls and tell them to bring a shovel, and there would be no questions asked. I'm always grateful for that. I'm Linda.
Marybel, where are we going?
And I'm Melissa. I ask no questions.
I
Grab your
just want to
shovels,
know
ladies.
which direction we going because I'm gonna get lost. Just point the direction and tell me where I'm, digging the hole.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh man. Oh man. So for this episode this week, Linda actually made the suggestion. Shockingly enough, it wasn't my suggestion. So I just would like to point that out because it would have been a suggestion of mine, certainly. But we are going to dive into a a really interesting murder, serial killer, a case of the Long Island serial killer. And
Not
this
the
is,
first one.
yeah,
Just point it
yeah,
out.
yeah. And
Correct.
this is a true crime story. It's probably been going on for about 20 years now. So there's just a special, I think it's called Gone Girls, right? I
I
think
think so.
Yes.
it's on Netflix right now. So if you haven't heard about it or watched it yet, it's good. I prefer the documentary versions of stuff rather than like the movie
Mo-
versions of things like this. So there is one that was like a movie that came out before this.
Mm-mm.
I can't remember the name of it right now off the top of my head, but I didn't watch that just because I'm not into it. I want to like see the real people, see
A
the real
re-
information, see all the documentation that aligns with it. I'm much more documentary documentary style is like my thing for sure.
Agreed.
So
Agreed.
I saw it pop up on Netflix. 2 minutes into it, it's not like we don't know the story of like the Gilgo Beach Killer, but
Hmm.
as soon as I put it on 3 seconds in, it's like boom, Long Island. I'm actually afraid. I haven't been afraid being home, but now I'm like, and I'm not sure that the our listeners understand just how close we are to the site where where they
Well,
dumped.
how about how close you actually live to the potential serial killer?
Exactly.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because I'm more closer than Linda is. I was
Yeah.
even closer before,
Uh-huh.
and apparently the X is like 3 blocks away.
Whew.
Like so, like it's crazy. And that made me nervous that immediately I'm like, okay, let me just, while the TV's playing, because I'm actually really cool. I'm just gonna make sure all my doors are locked, my car is locked. I don't know. I all of a sudden had this weird feeling that I just wasn't safe because this is in my backyard. Let's watch the show.
Well, think about it though too, because also like how many times have I driven up and down Ocean Parkway where these bodies were just kind of
Hmm.
hanging out? Because that's where all our that's where our
Yes,
beaches are. So that's where we're
yes.
going. I'm driving past that all the time because I take
Hmm.
I like taking the scenic
You know,
route to get
mhm.
to the beach. So I go like around and literally pass through Gilgo every single time. And funny enough, I don't know if this is like coincidental. If you think about it, the other serial killer that we know was literally we
Huh?
all lived
Uh-huh.
the next like it was like he was like 10 minutes from our high school.
Uh-huh. We
So,
make them real good out here on Long Island.
Yeah.
but why are they so close to us?
Like exceptionally close. So the kid asked me, it's like, where's Gilgo? I'm like, it's really close. Like, but how close? Like, I'm like, listen, we drive and we go to Toby. Like, we stop at Toby. But if we don't make the turn and we keep going, that's where all these bodies are found.
Like 2 minutes later.
Hmm.
And like she loses her marbles and understands now just how close it is to us.
Hmm.
But before we go any further, because this is the one part of this show that really upset me. I'm not sure if well, when the people are speaking, I don't know where they pulled them out of, but they look like they're from the middle of the country. And I don't want to talk bad about you guys in the middle of the country, but it's just different demographic, different lifestyle, different accents. And these people that have been interviewed don't resemble anything of what looks like in Long Island. I thought maybe I was just a little, um, I don't know what's the word. Um, I was taken back, but maybe I was a little too judgy. I'm like, that's not what Long Island sounds like. Maybe it does, and I just don't hear the accent. But legitimately, I it felt like these people were from the mountains. They don't belong out here. I so that was the part that really bothered
Yeah,
me,
but what?
outside of the killing part. But
But
the
like
people they interviewed.
I only got through the first episode so far. I mean, I know the whole story anyway, so it's fine. But
You
like,
see these people talking.
yeah,
Even
but the
the guy's wife, where like she looks like a hot mess.
well,
Hmm.
yeah, but I was gonna say otherwise, like all the family members, at least from the first one, don't really they don't none of them live around here.
Yeah.
Like or
Not the
some
first
so
four.
like yeah, right. So I only got to see the first episode because Chris was like, we watched the one episode, and Chris was like, I need a palate cleanser. And I was like, I was like, oh, I just keep watching them and I'm gonna
Yeah.
continue
I
watching it.
watched the whole thing in one go because,
Yeah.
yeah. So as a heads up, anybody who anything, triggers violence against women, disturbing, just, listener discretion is advised. So if you're not into it, skip this episode.
And see that
Rated R.
that's where my huge issue is with
Yes,
this
and we
whole
will. We
fucking
will. We
situation.
will. We're going to
Hmm.
get into that. I have like some
Do I have to
bullets
wait? I
on
can't
that.
get into it now. We have
Well,
to
I
follow your
feel like
outline.
some people don't know, like they don't
Ugh.
know. So let's start. We'll
Okay.
start it right
Okay.
off. We'll
People
dive
have to
right
know.
in.
Okay, go ahead.
Go for it.
With this first part, Shannan is the first one, Shannan Gilbert. We're going to talk about her to kick things off. It's still they're not sure if Shannan is necessarily related to all this. Like it's possible Shannan just happens to be the catalyst in them finding all of these
Yep.
bodies. So
Hmm.
let's dive into that first. So this goes all the way back to May 1st, 2010. So quite a long time ago. Uh, and we were talking about it, me and my brother, and he's like, that feels like it was so long ago. And I was just thinking like we must have been there on Long Island. And I was like, no, we were gone
No.
already. Like this is after we had already
Hmm.
left,
Yep.
which is crazy because I can't rationalize the fact that I've been gone that long. But anyway, I digress. So 24-year-old Shannan Gilbert, she's a sex worker from Jersey City. She had a driver who took her out to a house on Long Island in Oak Beach. It's
Hmm.
a
Very
quiet,
exclusive,
yeah,
you
gated
know,
community.
gated. Like you need to be able to get on, like you can't just drive onto it.
Yeah. So this driver, Michael Pack, I guess he is her driver for like all of uh
Clients.
her escort clients, and so she had made an appointment via Craigslist, take goes out to this guy's house, but he waits outside for her, Michael, and something is not right, like kind of immediately tipped off that things are not right. So like I think it's about 5 a.m. Shannan makes a really long 911 call. She tells the dispatcher they're trying to kill me. She's
Mhm.
panicked, disoriented, kind of seemingly out of sorts, and supposedly takes off running
Naked.
into the marshes.
Hmm.
She knocks on neighbors' doors. Two of them confirm that they did see her, but somehow nobody steps in.
No, well, the
Nobody
one guy, he said she was in, he like had her come in the house, and as soon as he said he was calling the
getting the
cops, she
police.
ran
She
off.
left. Yeah, yeah. So eventually, the police show up an hour after the calls begin, and by then, she's gone, just vanished.
Hmm.
What started as this search for Shannan leads to something entirely worse. December 2020, 2010, which is
Hmm.
now what, 8 months later, seven
Hmm.
months later, whatever it is. Officers are doing a training exercise. They've got a cadaver dog. They're out near Gilgo Beach, just off Ocean Parkway, and they stumble upon some human remains,
Hmm.
but they weren't Shannon's. So, over the
Well, they said
course,
that it was like it was her mother who kept pushing and pushing and pushing and
yes,
pushing for them to
yes,
go, and they
yes,
finally were like, "All right, I'll go
yes,
out."
Well,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
but can before you go any further, we know that, she's been spotted. We call the police, and no one does a fucking investigation of where she was last seen.
Hmm.
We know that she's in the marshes, but we're gonna fast forward, where it's literally almost 20 years later, and they're like, we should probably take a look over here.
Hmm.
What is wrong with Suffolk County
Hmm.
Police that you're
Well,
telling me that those guys like, and apparently they like the largest.
Corruption, huge
Okay,
corruption. Hmm.
the largest department I think in all of New York or in the United States, that it's that large. It covers such a large space, and you're telling me you guys like just took this like it was no fucking big deal, and we
Nobody
shouldn't
wanted
bother
to get in
looking?
the water. Nobody wanted
Yes,
to bother getting in the water.
literally. I don't want to get in the water. I don't want to get dirty. You know how deep it is? It's the marshes. So you didn't do your fucking job.
Hmm. Hmm.
We could have, you could have saved possibly lots of people
Hmm.
had you done your fucking job. So I'm
Right.
amazed that Suffolk County, sorry guys, like, what the fuck?
Well, here's the thing too, is because I think going back to what Melissa said earlier, we don't know if she really
Yeah,
is
we don't
that.
know if it's related,
To
that one.
me, it almost sounds like she's not probably related. I think she's the catalyst though,
Right.
because I have a feeling there was a whole bunch of fucking shit going on in the
Yes.
department, and this was like a
Yes. This
well-known
opened up a whole
something
lot.
fucking happened
Yeah.
there,
Hmm.
and somehow they were involved. Like somebody higher up in the ranks was involved, which I think the commission, what it wasn't the commissioner of Suffolk actually did uh resign or something like that at some point, right? Or
Yeah.
just
Eventually.
something like that. Yeah.
Hmm.
And like, so I think that was the whole, we don't want to look because of that. And when they were
Hmm.
finally forced to fucking look, I don't think anybody thought they were going to find what they found.
No.
But the new deputy, I'm not even sure what his title is. But and again, I don't know if it's because he's black and like and not part of what else is going on in the department. But the guy, 6 weeks in, has got all his shit together and says like, this was a fucking easy investigation.
Hmm.
And I feel like because he doesn't, to me at the time, is not reflecting what Suffolk County is trying to portray. But this man is an intelligent man, and here he comes out, and he looks like I'm fucking taking no one's bullshit. Like I'm here to do my fucking job. The guy comes on strong, and the other one was like, like So we're gonna send somebody out, and maybe we'll just keep trying. But this other guy, like 6 weeks, and he's like, it was like no fucking brainer. Like we started at the marshes.
Yeah.
So it really is upsetting. I love that guy. That guy was my favorite. But
Yeah.
again, it's 6 weeks, and you tell me 20 years later, and you couldn't have done that.
Hmm.
So
And they figured
forget,
out where the pings were all coming. Like they knew the
they,
Hmm.
general
they,
Hmm.
area
they
Hmm.
on where the
triangulated
pings were coming
everything.
from.
Yep.
Hmm.
And it's not like we're talking about this is, so long ago that you didn't know about cell phone towers. DNA isn't being processed in the system. Like you're talking about fairly modern times, and you don't like you have the tools you need to fucking find this guy, and you just let this guy go about his business being some lame ass architect that he claims he's an architect, but he's just fucking signing off paperwork, and he's just going about his business.
Well, let's
Go ahead, continue with
get back.
the outline.
So I feel like and I we'll touch on Rex and get into him a little bit, but like I always I hate drawing too much attention to the actual murderers because and like the serial killers because obviously we want to talk about them, but I feel like the people who deserve to
Mm-hmm.
have the light put on them are these victims, these young
Hmm.
Yep.
women.
Mm-hmm.
So over the course, we'll go back December 2010. Over the course of the next few days, first they find the one set, then three more sets of remains are discovered. All women, all
Mm-hmm.
wrapped in burlap, all
Mm-hmm.
within a quarter mile of each other. They become known as the Gilgo Four, and this is Melissa Barthelemy, she's
Mm-hmm.
24. Megan Waterman, she's 22. Amber Costello, she's 27. And Maureen Brainard Burns, who is 25. So all four of them were petite in their early 20s. All of them had worked as online escorts, and each vanished between 2007 and 2010.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't stop there either. By the spring of 2011, police have found a total of 11 sets of remains. Some of them are just bones, partial torso, some were dismembered, some were children,
Mm-hmm.
some had been killed years apart, no clear pattern.
It was a man also.
Yeah, yeah. One of them was somebody who was like, uh,
Trans?
yeah, I think trans. I think it was trans. So in December of 2011, a year and a half after Shannon's disappearance, her remains are finally found in a marsh near Oak Beach, a mile from where she was last seen, just
Thank you.
1 mile.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Not very
they
hard.
they rule her death an accident,
Hmm.
saying she likely drowned in a drug-induced panic, but
Hmm.
her family never believed that. Her mother, Mary Gilbert, she was, like we said, very fierce advocate. She insisted that Shannon was a victim of the same killer or killers, and saying that it's the same person that was responsible for all the bodies that were nearby.
This poor
Uh,
mother
Because that's the
who,
yeah,
crazy thing. They're so fucking close.
yep,
It is not
yep,
a big area. It is an area
wild.
that will literally take you, if you were bike on car, it would
mhm,
take you 5 to 7 minutes to drive
Hmm.
through, literally, not even like 5 minutes to drive through the entire length of where all these bodies were found.
And like for people who don't know Long Island, like this is not like a heavily like wooded area. This is like a beach area. Like it's a lot of overgrowth. There's lots of
yes,
growth there, but it's not like pine tree. Like it's not like
nope,
massive forests that we're talking about here. It's
nope,
like road,
dunes,
dunes,
water.
beach,
Like it's not a
water.
wide,
Right.
Yeah.
It's an area that gets flooded by the ocean and washed out. Like it's
Mhm.
not an area that,
And it's not high traffic, so I can
no,
definitely see
no.
why he chose that location.
And
But
it's
I am,
dark at
yeah,
night.
no
It,
lights,
it's definitely a serial killer's
scary.
dream.
Yeah.
mm-hmm,
My heart breaks for this mother who had been fighting so strongly to find her body, to saying that, Shannon's there, like I know it, like, and I, in my heart, and that when they finally find her remains, mom isn't around to see it. She has passed since then. And it's like she died fighting, but never finally knowing that like it's done. She can rest, she can bury her daughter, and that to me is just so devastating. Like she
Hmm.
fought, and I'm happy that she did because she was able to get justice for others,
yeah.
but
Hmm.
she didn't get, I feel like, the peace of mind she needed for herself.
So let's talk a little bit about this guy. So unfortunately, this case just, like we said, it gets stalled. Nothing happens with it. Investigators chase dead ends. It just kind of goes in circles. Truthfully, it sounds like there's a lot of corruption that was going on. And we could talk a little bit now about the why of that. The thing that really bothers Linda specifically.
Oh
I
my
mean, it
God.
bothers me too, but you know,
I was
they
so
ignored
fucking
this.
angry, so
Yeah.
angry about this because
Hmm.
it's like her mother fought so hard for her and like kept asking them, please search, please search, please search. And then when they interviewed one of the other ones, victim sisters, I think it was Maureen's,
Hmm.
and she said, I went to 18 different precincts
Hmm.
to report her missing and to try to get someone to go look for her.
Yeah.
And nobody wanted to fucking do it.
Nope.
All
No.
because they were escorts. They
Hmm.
were trash.
Yeah.
It did
Right.
not matter to them whatever. It's the lowest of the low. Who the
Hmm.
fuck cares? And
These
Mari was like, these are humans.
Right.
They are
Yeah.
people's. I mean, the first four, what was two? I think two or three of them were all mothers of young
Hmm.
hmm
children,
Hmm.
single
hmm
mothers, trying to fucking do whatever they could possibly do to keep
hmm
their family and provide. Because of course, that's a whole other issue, the way, single moms and whatever people get treated.
Right.
And their mothers, their daughters, their
Hmm.
sisters,
had families.
their
They're
Yeah.
their
not just
friends, families,
nobodies
they're nobodies
abandoned.
just because they're a fucking sex worker.
Right.
That is ridiculous that they did not want to lift a finger because of the circumstances these women were in
Hmm.
that had them and placed them in a position where, yes, it was not safe, even though, yeah, they would have a driver, would do whatever. But this is the mentality. And it pissed me off even more because this was literally the mentality the killer had because he
Hmm
thought they were pieces of shit as well and deserved what they got.
Hmm.
hmm
Or, thought, uh, I can get rid of them. Like I
Yeah,
can dispose of them
that's fine.
and
Nobody cares.
nobody's
Nobody's
gonna
missing
care.
them.
Yep.
Nobody cares.
And these had lots of family, lots of loving family that these ladies had. So they weren't just, individuals just coasting through this world alone, and that you could think that you could dispose of them. Like these were
And
people
most
with
sex women,
families.
right? Most sex workers don't even get put on like and that's what even one of the journalists said. It was like, nobody thinks to put these women on
Mhm.
like, missing persons, and no
Well,
one no one cares to go look for them. And I think what pisses me off, and for me it's like a personal thing, because I had an issue. I was like 16 or 17.
mhm.
I went to the market. I went to a convenience store, and I went to go buy protection. And the person behind the counter took it upon themselves to come around the counter and put his arms around me and kiss me because he thought it was okay, because I was a young female in there buying contraceptive. I then didn't know what to do. I thought I did the right thing. I humiliated myself essentially to outing my whatever status to family, and proceeded to go to the precinct and start to tell somebody.
They
And
don't
they
care.
looked at me and was like, well, it's a cultural thing. It's fine. If you want, you don't really
Hmm.
want to press charges, do you? And,
Yes.
you don't really want us to like, we can go by there and,
They make
like
it so
say
hard.
something, but like, and I realized in that moment, it was because they literally looked at me and was like, she probably, what did she expect?
Hmm.
So I find I've had to go multiple times to the precinct for some issues that needed to be resolved. And what I found every time was that you were creating a problem, that you were bothering them, that there are much bigger things to be worried about there. And here I'm coming in saying, like, I'm kind of scared. Like, this is happening, that's happening. Like, what do I do? And they can't be bothered. They make you feel in such a way that they're not there to help you. Although they say, look, we're here to help, you need us, you call the police. No, but it took quite a bit of time before you had to learn to like kind of brush that off and keep pushing through, because they
Hmm.
don't make you feel safe. So all these people of domestic violence, these women who are sex workers, they're getting hurt. You think that the police are not making it easy for them to walk through the door and say, yes, I know it's illegal to be a sex worker, but this happened to me. Like as a human, I have rights. As, Forget everything else. I have rights as a human. A bad person, I love to call everybody a bad person. A bad person who commits multiple crimes has more rights than those who are coming forward
Hmm.
asking for help, for guidance, for protection. But the one who continues to fucking kill somebody, multiple bodies, and this guy still hasn't been fucking tried.
Mm-mm.
You
Nope.
know, like how much more evidence do you need? But hey, was it really that important? It was, sex workers. And I feel like I remember the news portraying it, that, also downplaying it, that, these were
You're
sex
safe. It's
workers.
fine. If you're not a sex worker, you're fine.
Right.
Right. And
Yeah.
people walked around like that. I don't have to worry. He's not coming for me. I'm not a sex worker.
Hmm. Yeah. It's just, it's a horrible narrative to put out there that one person's life is more valuable than another just because of what they're choosing, for their lifestyle.
That's why I
And
think
that's
you
the
should
thing
just
too.
legalize prostitution.
Well,
You know,
that's first of all, yes.
you tax
No,
them and
it
now
should
they're
be.
contributing. Why not?
Hmm.
It
And,
should be
and
because it would be safer.
yeah,
Right.
and you test them just the same way we legalize marijuana. Why aren't we legalizing prostitution?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
there you
mean,
go.
you don't want to be a sex worker, don't be a sex worker.
That's it.
Like
It's a
what
choice.
I mean, people are allowed to have kinks and do whatever they want behind closed doors. So why is that line drawn at accepting money for it?
But then
Right.
that's the thing too. It's like I think these women fell into it because they can
Oh,
make good
yes.
money. So like
It
at the
could be a
same
number of
time,
things. And how many steps could I have been away from being put in a situation like that when I was getting divorced and I had no money and I was down on my luck? And, you start
This
to
is easy
question,
money.
how can I make easy money? How can
Mm-hmm.
I pay for food for my kids? What can I
Mm-hmm.
do to make a couple of bucks here or there? Or, addiction. Addiction becomes a thing where, you want to buy drugs, and what do you need to do to get the money for the drugs? And
Mm-hmm.
uh, you meet people who are like, oh, I'll get you drugs if you just go
Do
hook
whatever.
up with this
But
Mm-hmm.
guy. And so there are a lot of situations. And most of the time it is very young women who are easily manipulated and so there's a lot of I can understand there should be regulations and there should be things put in place to protect women. But
Mm-hmm.
doing nothing about it and just saying it's unacceptable is not helping the situation.
no, and
What's
this is
unacceptable are these men who are going around killing multiple people and no one having any urgency to find them or to stop them and prevent another murder from happening.
Hmm. Hmm. So, with that in mind, getting back to Rex, so obviously there's all this corruption happening, and here we go. It's now 2022.
Hmm.
They put together a task force, Suffolk County PD, FBI, New York
Hmm.
State Police, District Attorney's Office. They all get involved, and they've got fresh eyes, better tools, and finally it starts to unravel. So one of the major leads comes from the cell phone records, which we kind of touched on a little bit. So back in 2010, after the Gilgo Four were killed, someone used their phones to make taunting calls to family
Hmm.
members.
Yes.
So one of the victim's teenage sisters,
hmm
there were calls traced,
Hmm.
and the calls came from Midtown Manhattan. So nobody had thought or looked into that. Like there's actually a location where these calls are all coming from. So the investigators start piecing that all together. The burner phone data, cell tower pings, search histories, vehicle information, and all roads point to one man, Rex Heuermann. He is a 59-year-old architect, husband, father of two, lived in Massapequa Park, 30
Hmm.
minutes away from Gilgo Beach.
Hmm.
He worked in Midtown Manhattan, just
Own
blocks,
practice.
just blocks away from where all those calls have been made. And he had burner phones that were registered to fake names. Search history on his computer had things like, why hasn't the Long Island serial killer been
Yes.
caught? Or photos
So
of
fucking
Gilgo Beach
guilty.
victims, or,
Yeah.
extremely violent porn that included torture and necrophilia, all on his laptop, just sitting there waiting for somebody to find it.
So we find out that he commits these murders every time the wife is away.
Yeah.
And it looks like about as soon as she leaves, 2 days later, there's a murder that happens. But no one's allowed downstairs in the basement. So let's go back to the fact that this woman and the child are in his house. Like, do we not suspect something's like off? Like, what is that hiding?
There's something, I mean, like
And
they showed images of that house.
oh my God.
The house is in a nice neighborhood and it is
Yes.
dilapidated.
hmm
It hasn't been cared for. It was his father's house. His father was an abusive man.
Yep.
He left the house like a sanctuary to the father. He never changed anything. It's got like the
Nothing.
original furniture.
So fucking
Um,
Yes.
creepy.
Anybody who like marries into that and stays with somebody who clearly
You're
has
not okay.
issues. So I think there was probably issues on her. And who takes family vacations and never brings their husband with them? I mean, I don't
I
take
would.
Kevin. I don't take Kevin with me, but Kevin doesn't want to go with me. It's, maybe he's murdering people while I'm gone.
Maybe,
See?
maybe you
Are
have.
you not
Oh
allowed in a certain
shit!
room? Are you not allowed in the basement, in the man cave? Where are we not
And
allowed?
I don't
Kevin
understand that
is far
either.
too lazy for that. He doesn't have the energy for that shit.
Like there should be
Um,
no room that is like off limits in
yeah,
your house.
right, right, right.
And you're an architect. And again, this house hasn't changed since the 50s,
You make good
falling
money.
apart.
What is happening?
Yes. And the house looks like pure shit. And as you mentioned, it's in a really nice neighborhood.
hmm
Houses are very expensive where they are. And then you have this fucking dump of a house in the middle of the block. This woman, I don't want to talk bad about everybody, but she looks trashy. And, she's defending because apparently, according to the police, there's nothing to suggest that either the wife or the daughter knows anything that was going on because, again, they were gone when he committed these murders. But again, you close off certain areas of the house. Is your computer open? I mean, most of us at some point or another see what your history looks like. So, how and apparently he was a very brilliant man in how he was researching what he was
Hmm.
doing. So
Hmm.
he wasn't stupid and he was perfecting it, talking about how he was cutting limbs off so that it wasn't with the body, so it made it harder for you to like identify the
Hmm.
individual. So this is somebody who took a lot of time to research. You're telling me that you don't know what this guy is doing at your house? Like spending all this time on the computer. What are you looking at? And here you got like maybe you're walking in on like aggressive porn. You're walking into like,
But
how
she
do I kill
probably
somebody?
wasn't because if she's, here's the thing. I can understand, like, I've heard a few different stories of people who had a spouse or lived with somebody who had was fiance or whatever, and they were completely blindsided
Hmm.
by something that was found and they had no idea. And they
Hmm.
genuinely had no idea.
Hmm.
But
My
here's
boyfriend
the
has a
thing.
wife.
If, huh?
Like my boyfriend has a wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
You
mean,
know, so,
I
but like,
understand now.
right, that's the thing. But I think as a wife, I think it's another thing to be told you're not allowed in the basement. Why the fuck am
Mhm.
I not allowed in the basement?
I'm not
Hmm.
Like,
allowed anything.
and so like I wouldn't be surprised if that's where he was obviously probably doing whatever he was, like
And
research and
like,
whatever. But like
not for nothing, but if you tell me I'm not allowed in the basement
I fucking
when
am
you're
going in
not
that
around,
basement.
I'm going in the fucking
I'm
basement.
fucking going in the basement. I'm breaking this shit. I even might break it in your face. Like, what do you mean I can't go in my own fucking house? What
Mm.
are you hiding?
Right. I mean, and Chris, and even like Chris has his little area, which is his studio. And I like never go in there. I go over there
And it's
because it's not even a
open.
room. It's like, yeah, it's open. But it's not like, I never really go over there unless I'm looking for something like a pencil or whatever. But like every
His
once in a
space.
while, I just sort of like peek over onto his art desk because I'm just curious to see what he's working on.
Right.
But like I'm allowed to.
Hmm. Again, you're
Just
entitled
like
to
he
have
can
your
go,
space.
right, he can go into my yoga room and you know, pull
Lay
out a
down.
tarot deck if he wants, pull some oracle cards, like knock himself out. Like, go for it. Like, I'm not
But you have
hiding anything.
access.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't need to go through his phone or his computer.
Right.
Like, we're not like, I've been on his computer before. He's one of those people who don't know how to fucking close tabs, and literally every fucking
But
search
that's
tab
what
is
I'm
open.
saying. Did this guy do that? And again, we got to go back to how, and I agree with you that I don't want to shine any light on this man and what he did, but more about the victims that suffered under him
Hmm.
because he taunted the family members, about what he did and how like that
There's
how
no
does
way
that
he wasn't an
family
abusive husband somehow.
Yeah, I do feel like, and maybe abuse isn't the right word. He was very neglectful of his family in general. It's apparent he was neglectful of the house. Like it doesn't seem like he was a great dad. Like there's a lot of pieces there that there were tons of signs. Like I think they when the day the arrest happened and they brought the warrant and they went into the house, neighbors were like out on the street and they didn't like necessarily know what house they were in. And somebody was like, they think they found the person who did the Gilgo murders, and immediately the first they said this guy's name. Like, was it so and so? Was it Rex? And like because fucking creepy as fuck. And look at their fucking house.
it's the weird house.
It's a really really odd things, and there was also, they did find his DNA. They found it on the burlap used to wrap one of the victims. I think his wife's hair was also found on multiple victims, probably like secondary transfer, like he just had it on
Hmm.
him, and then when he was doing stuff was there. But so like there's DNA. that places him, clearly these phones were his phones. So July 13th, he is in 2023. So this is just 2 years ago. He was arrested outside his Manhattan office. Like I said, neighbors said he gave off a strange vibe, clearly. But no one imagined that he would be connected to anything like this. He was charged with all four of the murders for Melissa Barthelemy, Megan Waterman, Amber Costello, and Maureen Brainard Burns. So he's obviously pleading not guilty, and he's being held without bail. Thank God
Held.
for that.
But held.
Uh,
Why aren't we charged?
Yeah,
What are we waiting on?
because you have to. That's not like
yeah,
you
yeah.
Okay, but
can't.
how long?
Well, that it all depends
Well, and there are
on,
other unsolved cases,
right,
so they're trying to build, you know, they don't want to they want to get him for everything
in
and
one shot.
get it all done in one shot.
But
So,
we could give him life without the possibility of parole on the
But
four.
it's, yeah, but if you're one of the parents or family members of one of the other victims, you want that closure. You want to hear
mhm,
But
that
I also want him
somebody is,
charged and make sure that, done over. I heard the verdict. And now if you happen to associate, other bodies that's connected to him, it doesn't change that he still got the same outcome. I want this man charged already and instead of just hanging out. Like the dude's hanging out. That's how I feel. He's just hanging out and doing his
mhm,
own thing.
they also need to make sure that, especially criminal cases, are tried on such technicalities
mhm,
that it could be very
Mhm.
easy for somebody to say evidence was tampered with or this or that. And as soon as that comes into play, you could fucking lose the case because of something like that. And I
and
think they're
there,
being so meticulously careful
right,
because think about the beginning part of this investigation.
right,
Probably wasn't who
mhm,
knows how clean of investigation that was.
mhm,
So they need to be absolutely sure that they have enough of a rock solid, well investigated, like perfectly case presented so that there is no technicality that this asshole can get off on.
right.
And I think because of this such a high profile case, they would be fucked if
Mhm.
that happened. And I think
And
that's part of it.
you don't want to risk the chance of this guy getting back out again. Right now he is being held, so he can't commit any more, horrible crimes. And so, assuming that he is, he hasn't been proven guilty yet, but assuming that he is the person, right now nobody else is being harmed. But
Sure.
they said there could be victims in South Carolina, Las Vegas, Atlantic
Yes.
City. So it's not even just
New
Long
York.
Island. He did
Hmm.
this other places as well. So right now he is awaiting trial. He has been charged with the four murders. Investigation is open. There are still seven other sets of remains that haven't been officially connected to him. Some of the victims have never been identified. Police are continuing to explore digital evidence, DNA, cross-state links. Obviously, there's a ton of public interest in this just because it's been Netflix, it's been all over TV. There's, different specials, our podcast, other podcasters talking about it, documentaries, and most importantly, the victims' families,
Hmm.
especially Shannan Gilbert's. They fight really hard. They're trying to hold the police and everybody really accountable. So I
I
think
was just about to say that. When are we going to hold Suffolk County accountable where they turned away FBI assistance?
mhm,
Like they didn't want anything. They've got this. So are we ever going to look at Suffolk County Department as a whole and hold them responsible for what took so long that shouldn't have? Like, what else are these guys fucking doing? Which we know, the joke is you want to have a Suffolk job because these guys don't fucking do anything and they get paid a tremendous amount of fucking money. So when do we hold them responsible for not doing their fucking job? Because I think they're just as guilty.
mhm, mhm.
Yeah, because I mean, because that was the thing. It was like there was at least the two other victims that happened after her.
Mhm. Yeah. And that's on them.
Hmm.
That's
At
on
least
Suffolk County
two.
Police.
I
Hmm.
mean, if they start linking the other ones
Right.
where he's getting more savvy, because that was the thing too. It was like the first four were like out, or I think the first three were like out of state coming to Long Island.
In
Yes.
New
And
Right.
Jersey.
then it started to get like, well, then he got more ballsy, like, oh, I can just pick in my backyard.
Hmm. Yep.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So, I think this is a real brutal reminder of how quickly some lives, especially those of sex workers, are dismissed by society and law enforcement. Shannan Gilbert's disappearance, it was the key to unraveling the entire mystery, but even for years, her voice wasn't believed. Just crazy. And her mother, Mary, refused to stay silent because of her fight. This case never went truly cold. So thank goodness for her and
Hmm.
and for
We're
what
never
she's
giving
done.
up.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. So I think
Again, it's just so sad
it's
how
sad. It's
so many
sad.
people that it's just, whatever it is, you're viewed as less than. And and it kills me because every time you hear about a serial killer, every time you hear about somebody who's sexually abusing, children or whatever, who is it? White fucking men,
Middle
straight men,
aged
middle-aged, white, straight
with a
fucking
big
men.
fucking beer belly.
Hmm.
They all have like the same body type.
Oh, and I didn't even mention this. Like, he was like 7 feet tall, like
Yes, he was a
a
beast.
massive, huge guy. So these petite, tiny
Oh my God.
girls had
Had no
no
chance.
chance. They had
Nope.
no chance.
And I'm sure it was
Mm-mm.
all dominance.
Hmm.
Just another way to dominate over these people.
Hmm.
And it's just fucking blows my mind that, everybody else is blamed or everybody else is gaslit, that you deserve whatever you get, or you deserve this because you're this, and you deserve that because you're that, or you're going to harm this group of people. And it's always fucking straight, white, middle-aged men who probably couldn't get a fucking date in high school and, have now decided to make, people their enemies and feel like they can just beat up on everybody.
Mm.
And it
I
just
mean,
pisses me off more than anything. So fucking
and
society blows.
Mm. Hmm.
on a very different angle of this, looking at the photos of these women brought me back to the 90s and our look. And I'm like, I'm like, what's up, girl? I'm like, I see you. I got the same eyebrows as you. The look, the outfits, the hair, everything. It's like, oh my God, like we all looked exactly the same.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
It's the
So,
truth.
I thought it was a great look.
Yeah. And it, I mean, it hits close to home because literally could have been any one of us, anybody
Yeah.
we knew.
Anybody. And again, extremely, extremely close to where we live.
Hmm.
Not only this one, there's Joe Rifkin, who,
Mm-hmm.
you started the conversation with, again, also targeting only sex workers and not making a big deal out of it because they're sex workers.
Hmm.
But this dude lived even closer than this other guy did to us. So it's just a little scary that Long Island produces these type of people.
Well, that's what Chris was laughing about because when it first started, when watching the show, whatever, and it was like, oh, serial killer, on Long Island, they haven't seen like in a decade or decades or something. Like they could. Chris goes, yeah, because I can't say it's not the first serial killer on Long Island, and I'm like,
True.
very true. Like that Joel Rifkin lived literally 5 minutes from my other best friend.
Yeah.
Lived like I passed that house
So many
all the
times.
time,
Yeah.
all the time,
Hmm.
going to Joy's
Mm.
all
Yeah.
the time. And it's like, again,
I
down the
remember,
block from a high school.
yeah.
Hmm.
Or
Like,
that my
and the
Spanish
jail.
teacher, yeah, my Spanish teacher would say like he was actually my student. I'm like, oh my God, like, yeah, no, this is this hit really close to home.
Hmm.
It's a shame. If anyone that listens that, if like life just doesn't seem like it's right, before you start hurting people, go get some help. Like the world is not that bad. Even if you feel like it's a bad place, like get some help. There's no reason to hurt anybody else. Don't hurt yourself or anybody. But, do something, see something, like go somewhere. But
It
why
it
do we go down this road?
because it blows my mind. Because think about how many you see the videos online of like these men who are so angry at women,
Mhm.
who are like not like angry in a different dark
Hmm.
way,
Hmm.
like blaming women for their entire life
Yeah.
and how their life
Like, who
is
hurt you?
and how
Yeah,
yeah and how fucking women are the devil and they basically deserve to be treated like shit.
it's got to be like a mommy issue.
Hmm.
And it's like you watch and you're like what the
Or
fuck?
some woman once rejected them, and that rejection just set them off on this dark, dark path. Like the things that, you know, uh, it's just, it's wild. Like how many men have screwed us over or done shit to us, and we're not like, let me go murder men and blame it all on them. Like, how
It's
about
not funny.
figure your shit out and
And
find a new
move
path?
on.
Right.
And move the
Like,
fuck on. Isn't that what
Just
we're all supposed to do? Move the fuck on. You got rejected, move the fuck on. Go find a hobby, move the fuck on.
because as women we don't have enough time. We're too busy doing everything else that we have to get done. We got to get our shit done, do whatever, blood up. We don't have fucking time to sit around and like I
Well, so
mean,
so
I
that men
might
don't
plot your death at some point, but I don't fucking have time to go carry it
execute.
out. I got fucking better shit to do.
I got time to Google how to, what's the tools that I need. But I can't. So this shit makes me really scared. So there's somebody that I work with who, as a hobby, okay, as a hobby, does taxidermy. And, kind of, I want to me, it feels like you're collecting roadkill. But, you know, to me, there's just, that's not a hobby. That makes me really fucking nervous that you're sitting here playing with dead animals and you're stuffing them like, it's a whole process and you researched it and, proud. This individual is proud because they're making money off of it. But again, you fucking make me nervous. You make me nervous that this is, of all the things in the world that you could have chosen to make a hobby, this is it. Like, you've got issues. You've got problems. Like, is it a job? Okay, I get that. It's a job, and that's where you focus. And even then, I have like questions. But a hobby? No, this isn't a hobby. This is how like serial killers begin. You start off with like little rodents. You move to to cats and dogs, and next thing you're stuffing a human. Like freaking Bates. Like it's not. This person makes me nervous. Makes me very I don't think it's okay. And we've had to have lots of conversations about that. But oh, I like as a parent to a child who starts it as a hobby, you don't think there's something really fucking wrong with your kid? Like there's signs. These people knew that there were signs about these individuals that they just weren't right. So what did you do to try to help them? How did you try to prevent this fucking disaster from fucking happening? Because maybe you just can't help it. Maybe some people are just wired that way.
Hmm.
So you have a duty to like keep them safe and kind of keep the world safe. And I get it, like as a mother, do you turn your kid in? Well, it depends. If you're a little fucking psychopath, I might like you. I don't know. That's a whole other conversation. Can you turn your kid in knowing that it's that type of person?
Yeah. And I think we kind of, I can't remember if me with you guys or like somebody else, but we were talking recently about like what would you do if you knew your kid did some really fucked up shit? And like I'm like, fuck, I don't like I don't
How
picture
bad?
myself. Yeah, I don't picture myself as like, if my kid like murdered somebody, like I wouldn't be like, oh, we're gonna like hide it and we're, like I mean, we joke all the time that we're gonna hide each other's bodies or something, but like reality of the situation is I don't think I could live with myself. I don't think I could hide my child and live with myself. Would I be like by my kid's side and be there in court and like, be supportive, quote unquote? Probably, but I would also be like ashamed and traumatized and like fucked up as hell from the whole thing.
Right, because I feel like how could you not feel like it was something that you could or couldn't prevent, or something you did or didn't do?
I don't know. I might I might help you bury the body, but if you're like you were hurting kids, like I can't help you with that. Like I didn't like now I'm devastated because I didn't raise you that way. Like where how did you go down a space like that? Like you're just a really bad person and like my heart breaks that you've become that person.
Well,
So no, you have to be turned in at that point.
did you see, and I don't know if you've seen it, but like it came up on my TikTok and, of course it did because why wouldn't shit like that come up on my TikTok? But, and I don't know where it is. I should have like looked it up while we were just sitting here because I was thinking about it. This woman is in her house and she's in her son's room and she goes in the closet and there's, I think it's like a plastic bag. She opens the plastic bag and there's like a fucking man's head and a man's
No,
hands, right?
no.
Okay. And she fucking calls the police. She's freaking the fuck out. She calls the police. She's like hysterical and
Mhm.
the police come and she's like on the ground. There's like footage of her like on the ground like hysterical crying and she's just like totally fucked up and then like it flips to the son who looks like a stereotypical fucking serial killer, like straight up has the look, and they said to him like why we're here, and he said, yeah, I think so. He's like, yeah, there was a head and hands in my bedroom in a bag, or like just like very nonchalantly, zero fucking
Emotion.
upset, no emotions, nothing. And they're like, so what happened? He's like, yeah, I murdered the guy. And he's like, who did you murder? And then he like says the guy's name. It was a homeless man. He murdered a homeless man.
Oh,
And they asked him why, and he said, I always just wondered what it would be like to murder somebody. That
I,
was his response.
I don't
That is
understand.
like, there you have a deeply rooted psychological problem.
For sure.
Like,
Wild. Wild.
I
No.
just wanted to know what it was like. And that's probably the kid who was probably killing little animals.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a lot of things that I'm curious about, like bungee jumping. I'm still not gonna fucking do it. I'm too fucking scared.
Right.
But like you can think it like, with all these fucking murder podcasts out there, I'm sure every single person has thought like, can I get away with the perfect murder?
Hmm.
You watch enough of that. Does it
Or,
mean I
like,
want to fucking
oh,
try?
if something ever happens, I know what I need,
Huh?
like I
And
know what I would do.
uh,
Never gonna actually fucking do it though.
no, where's your moral compass? Like
Yeah.
it
Where do
doesn't
you
exist.
how do you cross that line? Like, to me, that's a pretty difficult line to cross.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, what place do you have to get to in your life where you could like extinguish somebody else's life? And in some of these cases, like not even extinguish, but like completely brutalize somebody and then
Yes.
dismember them. Like
but again, it's
wild.
a homeless person. So again, probably the same theory. No one's going to miss this person.
Exactly.
Nobody knows about this
Exactly. And
person.
that's, I
Who
think they
knows if
pretty
this
much,
was
he
like
says that.
a vet? I'm sure he's still
Hmm.
somebody's son.
Hmm.
He's still someone's family. Like, he's still a fucking person who
Hmm.
maybe just
It's a
again,
break.
who knows? Who knows what's wrong with this, what happened with this person? And just to think that this person is less than you, that it is okay for you to do something like that blows my mind.
Mm.
Blows my mind. Like, I just don't understand it. I will never, I mean, and I guess it makes me fucking normal that I can't fucking wrap my head around, freaking just for shits and giggles, just trying to like, hey, we're gonna go, gonna go out and roam the streets and kill somebody. See what happens.
If
Nah.
Or
I get
like
away with
if
it.
like, in a fit of rage, maybe it happens. Like you get in a fight with somebody and like in a fit of rage you do it. Like you could relate like what is that called? A crime of passion, like
Right.
so something
Blind
like that
rage.
happens, right? And like most people, if something like that were to happen, like the immediate regret and guilt and horror and like,
Yes.
how is that not? And again, this is because there's something not right, but like there is none of that. They like dissociate and they feel no remorse, no regret. There's nothing to make them feel anything but like, oh, this is a situation I just need to clean up.
Nah,
Like spilling Cheerios on the floor.
Yep.
not a big deal.
Yep. Oh, anyway, on that note, Linda, you want to talk about how much you love working out?
Fuck that. So mad about that.
Don't kill anybody because you're so angry about that. You're allowed to have feelings.
I hate doing things that you have to fucking do because
Hmm.
it's, you should do it.
Mm-hmm.
You should totally do it. I fucking hate working out with a passion.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. I
I
really
don't
do
find
too.
So,
anything fun about it. I will say I used to love doing Zumba and I would totally do Zumba again because it's more like dancing in the club and then kind of working out tricks you a little bit, like, messes with you, which is fine. That's fine. But like doing like fucking actual workouts, like who finds that fun?
And there are people who do.
Yes.
Those
Like
yeah.
people
running?
must be serial killers.
How is running fun?
Well, I mean, from my perspective, it makes me angry, like because like you mentioned, you have to do this, and someone's telling you what to do, and it's got to be like a control thing because the more you tell me what I have to do, and that I better push hard and just do it one more time, makes me want to fucking punch you in the throat, possibly stab you. Like I could try to kill you for trying to tell me what to do when you're pushing me outside of my comfort zone. And I get like it's instantly a very angry place that I go to. I don't know. Nothing pushes me in that space more than working out does, especially with the trainer, which is supposed to be helpful. But it,
Hmm.
it puts me in a really dark place that I get angry and I'm like, oh, I need to work this out through therapy or something. Like, what does it mean? Like, is it my control freak? Like, why do I hate being told what to do? Like, and why do I hate being outside of my comfort zone? What the hell's going on? And, I'm angry. Like, and then I'm like, no, fuck you. And like, and I'm fighting with them. It's a mm,
I
unhealthy.
just
I just joined the gym again. So I think I'm going to try to go tomorrow and just take my ass there and just get on the treadmill. Just like step one, just get on the treadmill.
Can we talk about how I literally have a treadmill that's 3 feet from me? Ask me how many times I've used the fucking thing. Chris uses it.
I'm
I have
sure
one.
that
I have one behind this door right here in my office. Literally right here too. Like it's right here. But it is like a crappy, shitty one. It's not like a really like it folds up. It's one of those one that
Hmm.
like won't even go
walking
that
pad.
fast. Yeah,
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 I've
yeah.
got a walking pad. So I put it actually in my living room in front of the TV. And now we are for the last month. So I'm gonna take the win. Have actively been on it almost like every day. Just okay, let's commit to like 20 minutes while I'm watching a show. There's nowhere else to go. Either I sit on the couch or I go on this walking pad that's right next to it. So there's no excuse. I don't have to go somewhere else, or it's in an awkward position. I'm looking at a small TV. What? No, there's so it's been working out nicely. I still fucking hate it because it's killing my varicose vein.
Mm.
Mm.
For me, it was really good because I would use the time to listen to the podcast because now that I don't commute, I don't have time to like listen to my podcasts. So like I should be taking advantage of it just for the perspective that like it gives me a block of time to listen to
Hmm.
my podcasts and like catch up on them. But My laziness fucking wins out every time.
I'm my thing too is like it's for me, it's more than half the battle is getting my ass to
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that kind of class. And then once I'm there, I'm like, motherfucker, I'm gonna just do it. I'm doing it, and I'm doing and I might be cursing you out in my head, and I might
But
be
I'm doing
real
it.
fucking mad, but like I get that I don't want to say competitive, but I get that like well, I'm fucking here, let's go.
Right.
Like,
Right.
whatever. But I can't be bothered. Like I can't I'm already, a member of like, the yoga studio and whatever. Like I can't be bothered. Like, because if I have like another place that I have to go to, like that's one extra place, I'm not doing it. But and I don't know like Zumba used to be really popular. Now you don't really find any. Like it's hard to
Yeah.
find,
Yeah.
and
Remember,
like it makes me so mad because like it was like good loud music. It was, I was dancing and like I was working up a sweat, but I was at least like I might be cursing you out a little bit if we start throwing in like squats and shit, but like for the most part, you're like shaking it and dancing, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
mm-mm,
I need to bring that shit back. You know
ridiculous.
what? I finally found one cardio workout that I actually enjoyed, and then it disappeared. So you know what? It's not my fault. It's not my fault.
It is your fault.
It's not my fucking
Well,
fault. I didn't
plus
make
I
Zumba
hear at this
disappear.
point, cardio is like not even going to cut it for us. We need to like be straight up weight training.
Wait, yes, at this
Which is
stage.
why I'm doing the body sculpt class because it's like the intervals where you're using the weights to do, different whatever, and then you're doing like, a minute or two of like
Hmm.
jumping jacks in between.
Yeah.
So and I'm like, I'm mad about it because I know it's the type of workout that I need to be doing. But like I would have strapped a weight, weights onto me and just do Zumba. Just fucking
Or I could just be fat and happy and keep it as healthy as I possibly can,
Mm,
but still be fat. Maybe I'll
right.
just try to keep my insides. It's not going to get tight at this age of, at this point in my life. All of this sagginess is going to stay there. It's never going to get tight.
Yeah.
listen, I don't want to be cute enough for a serial killer.
We might be too old, but again, because I'm fat, I'm like one of those individuals that probably won't get taken.
Yeah.
As my
Right.
dad likes to say, fat people don't get taken.
And, like at least if like they think like I might, like maybe they think like they can take me because I'm like whatever, small, like petite or whatever. I at least want to be strong enough also to punch him in the throat.
Mm,
So like it's kind of a win-win, like when you're kind of doing like this sort of stuff. Like,
You're gonna get me. I'm screaming in my space where I am. Like I'm not moving. I'm screaming and I'm paralyzed in fear in that spot. So
hmm.
again, not really like a fun target. Like it's like
Yeah.
cheating. I'm not
Uh-huh.
really putting up a fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go find somebody who's gonna give you a real challenge.
I'm at this point where I'm just like, I need to like get a little bit more active because we're gonna be going to Alaska this summer and like probably gonna be out there friggin' hiking and I am gonna
Dying.
die. So like I need to get myself back. I mean, you guys remember not so
Yeah.
long ago, I was fucking out there
Running.
running miles. I hated it. I hated every step of it. Couldn't stand it, despised it, but I did it. I did
You were
it.
life's too
running.
short to do shit that you hate that much.
Oh, I fucking hated it. I hated it so bad. I would be out there like just doing it and being like, I hate this. Like, you have you ever played those games where you're like, okay, um, I have 10 minutes left, two sets of five, four
Yes.
four sets of 2.5. Like, like you're like, fuck
Yes.
Yeah.
me, God,
Yes.
hate it that kind of bad.
Oh,
Well,
uh,
on that note, let's all get to bed so we can get up early and
do it all over again.
do all over
Mm-hmm.
again and pray for me that I bring my ass to the gym.
You can do it.
Mm, pray for me. It's Kevin's gym too, but I'm not allowed to go while he's there.
Oh,
Why? You're cramping his style? I mean,
Yeah,
like,
that's his sacred space. He doesn't he
is he killing people at the
for
gym?
yeah, he's killing people at the gym. For some reason, he thinks that if I'm there, I'm gonna like talk to him. Like he needs to like focus
not
and
like you might be
be in the
flirting with
center.
anybody.
Yeah.
but that you'll talk to him.
No, he doesn't.
Don't talk to me.
He doesn't want anybody. Like when people approach him in the gym, he is horrified. Like he just realized that our neighbors that live across the street from us and have been living there for 4 months go to the same gym, and he
Oh no,
never noticed it before because he's never, and they go like at the same time as him, and he just was never paying attention.
he's
So,
ridiculous.
yeah, and I could see that because I could see me being like, "Hey, what should I do with this weight set? Hey, do you think I should?" And he's just going to be like, "Please stop talking to me."
Yeah, don't talk to me. We're not friends here. I'm with him on that. You're doing your shitty work. I'm doing mine. Neither one
Right,
of us wants to be here.
right.
Don't fucking talk to me.
But I was like, it's real easy, bud. You go to the gym at like 6 a.m.
Doing
and
it.
there's zero chance I'm
I'll
going
see you at
to the
6
gym.
p.m.
Yes, that's right. I'm an after work kind of activity person, not before work.
Oh my
Same.
God.
Anyway. Anybody have any comments on these murders or want to share any details maybe that we missed or facts that we fucked up because boy oh boy can I bet that we did. Go ahead and let us know right in or maybe you enjoyed this and you'd like to hear us talk about more of these and do that too because I'm on board for that shit. You can reach out to us at unfilteredafter40@gmail.com. That's unfilteredafter40@gmail.com. Like us, rate us, review us, plug us to your friends. We would love to have more listeners. We are almost at our 1 year anniversary
Whoop, whoop.
and
Wow.
just a couple weeks away. And honestly, I don't know like if we'll do this forever, but I'm really proud. We're talking about commitments and doing things. Like I'm proud of us for doing this for a whole fucking year,
I
committing
Hmm.
to
can't.
it and seeing it through.
I can tell
Well,
you
we might have
sometimes I
missed.
hate you guys.
Yeah,
I'm like, I don't want to do this.
yeah.
Oh no, Linda can't come tonight. Oh
I
man.
know, I know. I'm like, it's okay, no big deal. And Linda's like, oh, we could schedule for Saturday. I can do it on
I'm
Saturday. And we're
trying.
all like crickets.
I'm trying here. You guys are the ones that, like, we should do this so we could, maybe we'll like get a big break and
Yeah.
yay.
So
I
I
don't
don't
have
have
to
to
sell feet
prostitute.
pictures.
I don't have to sell feet pictures or become a prostitute. Like I'm trying to make money,
See?
guys. All right.
Sex
See?
worker, sex worker. We don't use the term prostitute.
Sex worker.
Oh, such a PC world. I just don't want to sell my body for money. How that whether it be whether it's sex or my feet. Okay, I just want to sell my body at all. I just want you to give me money.
Just
Oh,
give me money.
yeah. One day life will get easier. It's bound to happen. And
Ah,
until
ah,
then, we all have to go to bed and get up and go to work in the morning.
Yeah,
yes, we
fuck
do.
that.
All right. Good
All
night,
right.
ladies. Bye,
Night.
Night.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.